1947 Martin. It's 4.5 horse or something like that. They got a weird system. They'll call one a 40 and the other one's a 45. Let's see a fuel tank here to show you what I mean. Not a 45 horse, but it's pretty cool little motor. It's been laying out in the yard for a couple years. I thought it was just a parts motor, but I started going through it and fixed her up. Had to rob a few parts off of another junker I had. It's got valves instead of reeds. These are mechanically operated off of a cam. And you have to put these two springs. These two springs sit over top of that boss there on the top of the valve, one on each side. And then you put this intake manifold over that. Well, I recommend when you're going to put the intake manifold and springs all back together, rotate the cam or the flywheel until the valves are both as far down as they'll go. One will be fully closed and the other one, this one here on the left, is just about ready to make the uptick. And this one is as low as it can go until this one will start rising up again. Because if you have one of them sticking out all the way out, you won't be able to get this all back together. This is the fuel tank that was on the one that was running in the video. As you can see, not the best candidate cosmetically. And I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on this motor. But this has some pretty good markings yet. You can still read the starting instructions and oiling and all that. Stop, slow, fast, start, etc. This is what the coils look like on it. The side's really nice yet. For you, those of you that don't know, but your National Pressure Cooker Company, like Presto, they made electric frying pans and all kinds of stuff when I was younger. And this guy named Martin come along one time and he says, "Hey, I got an idea and a design for some motors, but I don't have a factory. Let's work out a deal." And so what he did, it was kind of the unheard of kind of a thing, but he got a percentage of every motor sold. That's how they worked it out. He didn't own, you know, the factory and the company and all that. So he found a company, National Pressure Cooker Company in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And they would eventually form a deal where they would manufacture the motors with his design. And he got a little piece of the pie. They only lasted for about just under 10 years. Because towards the end of the Martin motor era, the horsepower race was on, and George Martin is his name. He just didn't have the funds to keep up with that race. So one day they abruptly closed the doors, and that was the end of that. Some family bought the rights to all the molds and the drawings and everything else. But then it ended up with a guy in Nebraska. He owns all of that stuff, and he could still make these motors today. In fact, he does still supply brand new parts for these. It's called Larson Outboard Service in Nebraska. You can Google it and find that. Alright, that's my history lesson for today, and I was bored waiting on some parts. And this motor just been laying in a pile with a bunch of other ones, so I got into it last night and started it up today. Thanks for watching.